It can sometimes be difficult to know what sort of feedback you are giving and students are receiving when you're using Schoology. So this screencast will just give you an overview of some of your options and what it looks like for both teacher and student. So first of all, we'll look at the traditional Schoology assignments, not with the new Google Workflow, but the old one. So when you go into that, when you go into the directions view, once students have submitted, you'll see that either they're in and on time or they need grading like Star Learner here. For the student, what they see is they see their button to resubmit, so they can submit as many times as they want. And if they've submitted multiple times, they will see those here. If it's not been graded yet, it'll say NA at the top. So when the teacher goes in to grade it, they will be in this grading view, and you will see that if there are multiple submissions up in the top left, you'll see each revision, and you can click on this little drop down and toggle between and give feedback on each version of the submission. Then you also have your feedback tools in the middle here, your highlighting and your note taking. You do have your place where you score them, so if there's a rubric attached, you'll see the rubric. Otherwise, you will just put in the number. And there is a comments bubble here. We'll look at where that shows up for students. And then over on the side, you have some comment options as well as you can do video or audio feedback, and you can even upload like a rubric that you did outside of Schoology. So this is the teacher view. So here we can see we're on revision 2. We've marked up our text. We can draw things, we can highlight things, we can put a little post-it, and then the notes appear over here on the side. And then we can also go over to the side here, and if we use the microphone, that just puts a recording right underneath my comment. So I type my comment in, that's please listen to the audio feedback. Click on the recording, and then there's a little link so they can watch or listen to my feedback. And if I did upload something, that appears over here as well. And you'll notice here Star Learner has given me feedback by putting comments in his own box. The student view is similar. They see the revision, the notes that I've included, my notes, and then notice here Star Learner has just typed in a comment to me and clicked post. So I see that on here, and so do they. This part is shared between both the student and staff. Now notice up in the top there's a new draft option. The student could submit another version of their assignment right from in there. This is the teacher view for the rubric piece. So there's a new button up here right underneath the little indent button. When you click that, it snaps your rubric over to the side so you can see the full assignment, which is a great improvement. Then you can grade the assignment, and you can even put comments for a specific criteria. When students and teachers look at that, so here's the teacher view of the rubric, they'd click on the little bubble, they could type in a comment. The students will not see this comment, however, unless they go into the gradebook. Notice here is the student view in the submission, and they do not have that little bubble to see that. They only see the final score. Then when you go into the gradebook, the teacher will go over to Star Learner, and they will see the score and a little link where they can click into the assignment as well as see the comments that they have posted. The student sees similar things. They see a link to the rubric. If they click on that, the rubric pops up, and now they can click on this little speech bubble and see the comments that have been posted. They also see the overall comments that appear right down here at the bottom. So the student gets much better feedback when they go to the gradebook than they do within the assignment. However, they don't see the markup on the text itself. So here's another view to look at. So the teacher can see this on the direction phase, and notice they see who's been turned in, what the scores are over here. The student sees the rubric link here, so they can click into the rubric. They can also take a look at the score they've received, and when they hover over this little speech bubble, they see the overall comment. Another option for teachers is when they click into the directions view, if they click on this little button here, it brings up a list of all the students with a shortcut to an overall comment as well as a rubric and score. Now if you look at the new Schoology assignments with the new Google Workflow, When the teacher goes into in progress, it's a shared document between the teacher and student. So this is an excellent way to give formative feedback. Anything that the student or the teacher writes, like here in red, this is teacher text, or highlights, or puts a comment, the student sees that exactly the same. When things have been graded, when the teacher goes in, they have their rubric piece here, and they can score it, and then the grade would appear on the list of students once that's been entered. There is a place to comment on each criteria, and then there's an overall gradebook comment as well that the teacher can put. And you'll see on the student view, those show up actually in the assignment for this. So this part's a little bit more streamlined in the new view than the other one, where the student sees it in the actual assignment view. When you go to the gradebook, it's similar to the other assignment types. The teacher has the score and a link to the assignment or comments. When they click on the rubric, you can see that the rubric pops up and you can put in comments for each criteria. Student would see the same thing. They click on the little rubric, the rubric pops up, and they can see the comments in the gradebook view as well as the overall score. On Schoology Tests, it's a little bit different. When the teacher goes in and grades open-ended assignments, there's an option to do a rubric as well as a comment. You can do that also if they've uploaded video or audio. And then you have similar options as you do in the assignments. Now, when the teachers are putting out a test, you need to choose your view options. So if you choose yes with correct answers, this is what the students see. They actually see which ones they got right and wrong, as well as which answers should have been correct. Here is another view of that. Notice you can see they can go back to their old submissions. They can click on this little graph and they can see some analytics about them taking the test. They can see their grade, and then again they see what the correct answer should have been. Notice the little green check mark there. If they choose just yes, but not with correct answers, notice they see their score, but then they just see what they responded, but it doesn't tell them what their correct answer should have been. If no has been selected, all they see is their grade, but they can't go in and see any individual results. That tab doesn't even exist for them. In Schoology Discussions, you can grade with either points or a rubric. And if you do the rubric option, there is a little speech bubble there where you can give an overall comment. The students would see that in their gradebook. And then the teacher can also comment on each rubric piece, just like they did on the assignments. Teacher clicks the little grading tool to pop up the rubric and then posts the criteria. The nice thing about the rubrics, you can just click to score that. Gradebook view, again, you have shortcuts to the comments and the assignment. And once it's been graded, if you click on the check, it pops that up and you can grade them, you can put in comments. Student view in the gradebook, they have a shortcut to the rubric, they have their score, they can see the overall comments. So here's where the teacher put it. This is where it shows up for the student. Notice the student can also hover on the little speech bubble by the assignment and it brings up the comment as well. So there's a couple different ways that they can get to it. When they're in the gradebook and click on the rubric, then they can also see each criteria comment. So those are some of the options for grading. You need to choose the ones that you think are appropriate to meet your needs.